Imagine taking off and seeing your jet crash into the water seconds later. United Airlines Flight 1722 passengers experienced panic and alarms, and the ground was approaching. On December 18, 2022, Boeing 777-200 plummeted perilously close to the Pacific, saving a regular trip from Maui to San Francisco. What triggered this near catastrophe? Human mistake, mechanical failure, or something else? Here are the terrifying details of this aviation nightmare. Information regarding the flight and the initial conditions. Supposedly a few seconds after takeoff, your airplane abruptly began to descend into the ocean. In the midst of difficult weather circumstances, including heavy rain and instrument meteorological conditions IMC, Flight 1722 took off from Kahului Airport before the ground. It was in accordance with the established protocols that the airplane, which was carrying 281 passengers and crew members, began its ascent. When the aircraft was climbing through 2,100 feet, it took a sharp dive and descended to around 748 feet over the surface of the water. The pilots then rectified the flight route, which occurred approximately 1 minute into the trip. An account of the sequence of events that led up to the incident. What was the cause of this seemingly little misunderstanding that almost turned this trip into a dangerous disaster? A comprehensive investigation into the event was carried out by the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB), which brought to light a number of important reasons that were responsible for the fast loss of altitude. Erroneous communication. Regarding the settings for the flap, the captain gave the first officer instructions to move the flaps to a 5-degree angle during the first ascent. The first officer, on the other hand, misunderstood this directive and thought it was 15 degrees. An unanticipated pitch attitude was brought about as a result of this mismatch in flap settings, which affected the aerodynamic profile of the aircraft. After the misunderstanding, the flight crew was unable to successfully control the vertical flight path, airspeed, and pitch attitude of the aircraft. This resulted in the flight path being insufficiently managed. A steep fall was initiated by the aircraft as a consequence of this failure of judgment. Environmental aspects that affect. Not long after takeoff, the flight was confronted with intense precipitation and in-flight meteorological conditions IMC, both of which added to the complexity of the situation and may have been a contributing factor in the difficulties that the crew had in regulating the flight path of the aircraft. Rehabilitation and response of the crew. During the last moments of Flight 1722, what crucial choice was made that ultimately resulted in the saving of 281 lives? The Ground Proximity Warning System (GPWS) sprang into action as the aircraft descended at a fast rate, therefore conveying to the crew the impending threat. "Pull up! Pull up!" the first officer yelled out in a quick manner, which prompted the captain to take preventative measures. Without any more incidents, the crew was able to effectively restore control of the aircraft, which allowed them to rise to a safe height and continue the journey to San Francisco. Taking actions following an incident and reporting it. Why did United Airlines delay 2 months before reporting this terrible near crash that occurred last year? A voluntary safety reporting procedure known as the Aviation Safety Action Program, ASAP, was used by the flight crew in order to report the event as the aircraft was landing in San Francisco. An exhaustive check was performed on the aircraft, and the results showed that there was no damage. 2 months after the occurrence occurred, the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) was informed of it. This was due to the fact that the nature of the incident did not require rapid notification. Conclusions and reasons that are most likely to be responsible. What incredible error did the investigators discover at the core of this dangerously close call? In its final report, the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB) said that the event occurred as a result of the flight crew's inability to effectively control the vertical flight path, airspeed, and pitch attitude of the aircraft during the first ascent. This failure occurred as a result of a misunderstanding over the intended flap setting of the captain. As a means of guaranteeing the safety of flights, the study underlined how important it is to have open lines of communication and to strictly adhere to safety standards. Improvements in reaction from industry and safety measures. Could this aviation nightmare have been prevented with better training? After United Airlines Flight 1722 came dangerously close to a catastrophe, The airline moved quickly to adopt crucial safety upgrades in order to avoid situations of a similar kind from occurring in the future. Standard operating procedures (SOPs) were strictly adhered to, clear cockpit communication was emphasized, and accurate flight path management was emphasized. This was one of the most important modifications that was made to the company's pilot training programs, to guarantee that flight crews are able to successfully react to unforeseen circumstances and prevent key miscommunications. These new training modules have been implemented. Furthermore, United Airlines executed an internal awareness campaign at its training center with the purpose of reinforcing the most effective methods for flight path monitoring and decision-making when under pressure. In order to address the concerns raised by the National Transportation Safety Board (NTSB), the two pilots who were involved in the event continued to work for the airline, although they were required to undergo extended retraining. Technology-based safeguards and systems. What technology with the potential to save lives alerted the pilots at the perfect moment, and how does it function? Within the context of contemporary aviation, the near-catastrophic fall of United Airlines Flight 1722 brought to light the crucial function that onboard safety systems play, in particular the Ground Proximity Warning System, GPWS. This cutting-edge technology keeps a close eye on the altitude, speed, and descent rate of an aircraft at all times, transmitting instant notifications in the event that it identifies the possibility of a collision with the ground or water. In this particular instance, the General Purpose Warning System, GPWS, was engaged during the fast descent of the Boeing 777-200, therefore emitting urgent signals that urge the pilots to take remedial action at the precise moment. Controlled flight into terrain (CFIT) occurrences are one of the top causes of aviation accidents, and aviation experts underline that real-time alarm systems like these are vital for reducing these incidences. As a strong reminder of how cutting-edge technology improves flight safety and saves lives, this occurrence serves as a poignant reminder. In conclusion, it is evident that effective communication, respect for standard operating procedures, and the function of sophisticated safety technologies are of the utmost significance in contemporary aviation, as shown by the near-tragic fall of United Airlines Flight 1722. It is imperative that the aviation sector maintain a state of constant monitoring and training in order to guarantee the safety of air travel, and this occurrence provides the industry with a wonderful learning opportunity. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring you more in-depth stories. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the latest aviation incidents and analysis.